All right, welcome everyone to this week's episode of PEPTalk, Productive Environment Podcast. Let me stop our music so you can hear me. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, our topic this week is our to-do lists will outlive us all. And I cannot wait to dive into that. I am Andrea Anderson, CEO of Productive Environment Institute, and I am joined here today by...
I'm Barbara Hemphill, founder of Productive Environment Institute.
And we are thrilled to jump into this topic. So let's read that again. Our to-do lists will outlive us all. You guys, let that sink in.
Amen.
Have you ever thought about it like that? And that is a quote by Richard J. Leader. I had never heard that quote before. I was meeting with a colleague yesterday, Anna Malikian, and she's a coach, and her website is amazecoaching.com. And we were having this great discussion. Oh, let me just go ahead and point out she's going to be one of our guest speakers in our series we're doing next month. So stay tuned to hear about that. But I was sharing with her about our workshop. We have a workshop coming up. I mean, you guys, those of you that tune in each week and you watch our episodes, you know what we're about. But if anybody's new here, we talk about all things productivity related. We're a little different. Let me just share this because we're different than a lot of productivity gurus who are all about, be more productive so you can get more done. And, keep trying to be more efficient so you can get more done and keep doing. And yes, that's part of the equation. Our tagline in Productive Environment Institute is accomplish your work. So there's that part, and enjoy your life. And I think a lot of people forget that. And when Anna shared that quote with me, let's look at it again. Our to-do lists will outlive us all. And I went and searched for Richard Leader. I had not heard of him before. And I listened to him, and he literally is speaking our language, Barbara, really about purpose being a big piece of that. So I do have a video that I want to share. Eds, if you can cue up our video for us, let's watch this 2-minute video and then we'll react together, Barbara. How about that?
That's fine. I listened to it and already did something that he said. So
good. That's great. Do I need to do something, Eds? Do I need to do video? She's getting it. Perfect. Okay, listen up, guys.
And you came away though with this theme of the power of choice. Is that the primary thing you came out? Tell me about that. Is it the choice of finding a purpose, or the choice of, explain that?
Well, it's a mindset. Purpose is three things, Wes. It's a mindset, it's a path we choose to take in our lives or not, and it's practice or practices. All three come together. And there's the big P purpose and the little p purpose. He didn't talk about it that way, but that's the way I talk about it. And the big P purpose is kind of like legacy and what you want your life to be about. But little p purpose, Wes, is the choice you make every single day when you get up in the morning. Purpose is, why do I get up in the morning? Why am I here? What's the point of the exercise? And the little p purpose is to make a difference in one person's life every day, is the little p purpose. So oftentimes when I help people with practices, I say, look, take out a Post-it. And on that little Post-it, write these two words, which are the universal purpose: grow and give. If you get up every day with an intention, just to start with, to practice, to grow and give today, look at the Post-it in the morning on your mirror, and then at night before you go to bed, look at the Post-it and say, how did I grow and give today? And if you are growing and giving, you're living purposefully. You're not having a purpose that you can just write and put it aside. You're actually practicing and doing things on a day-to-day basis. And purpose is always outside of yourself. It's always beyond you. It includes you, of course, and is fulfilling for you, but it's also, about the world around you. I have a colleague who, on his answering machine, it says, at the sound of the tone, please leave your answer to life's two eternal questions. Who are you and what do you want?
I'm changing my voicemail to that. Who are you and what do you want?
I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah. So let me cue this up and then I'll pass it over to you, Barbara. So as I was saying before, for those of you that don't know, Productive Environment Institute, we help people organize their time, space, and information. And a big piece of that is what we refer to as task management or your task list, or most people know it as your to-do list. And some people prefer to call it your do list, not to do, because to means postponed decision to do it in the future, right? Do. So what is your do list? And we have many clients who have multiple to-do lists, right? And we're constantly writing them, or we're looking for the perfect app for our list. And we teach that. I actually have a workshop coming up, depending on when you're watching this. We have a workshop coming up on November the 15th, 2024, that we would love to invite you to. And it's Tame Your To-Do List. We don't ever really want if you think about it, we don't really want the do list or to-do list to ever end, because guess what that means? I mean, it's going to end at some point, right? But there's always something new to be added. And so I am more logistical, and I'm like, what's the best way to write it? What's the best way to track it? And here's the tool, and here's this. And Barbara is more the big picture and really what he's talking about. So I think, Barbara, you're the big P, purpose, legacy. What do you want your life to be about? And I'm more like about the practices of, how to do that. So let me let you take over here, Barbara, and share your thoughts on this.
Well, that ties in perfectly, actually, talking about how we look at it differently. You have to have both, because in order to leave a legacy, there are tasks you have to do. So if you know what your purpose, your big P, the legacy is, then you've got to have the task. But on the other hand, there are a lot of people who are constantly doing their tasks, but kind of running in circles or shoveling or just shuffling. I think about, he mentioned the power of choice. And of course, our business is based on clutter is postponed decisions. Mm-hmm. So everything is about choosing, is about making a decision. I think about one of my clients I have something called the laser coaching program, where people sign up for 15-minute slots. And one day this client said, okay, at first I was saying, why? Why are you doing this? Why did you sign up for this program? And she said, I want to have a better relationship with my husband. And so it's like, okay, we're working on that. And she said, I can't enjoy my time with him because my to-do lists are so long. And so one day I gave her an assignment that the next day we were going to meet with a week. And in the week, she was to look at her to-do list every day and pick 3 things that she either wanted or had to do, and then not look at it the rest of the day. When we had our next call, she said, you are not going to believe what happened. And I said, well, tell me. She said, I had a panic attack. She said, I did the 3 things and then realized I wasn't supposed to look at it again. And she said, I called my daughter, who's in her 30s and a recovering addict. And she said, Mom, that's withdrawal. You are addicted to your to-do list. Mm-hmm. And I thought, wow, how many of us, maybe not quite to that level, but I struggle with it a lot. I mean, some people, one of the things I think is an interesting thing is that we have clients that their to-do list is primarily things they have to do, that they don't really want to do, but they feel they have to. Actually, nobody has to do anything, but a lot of people feel they do. And so the to-do list is like, oh, my to-do is the opposite. I mean, there are a few things I have to do. My husband's truck just got hit by a deer yesterday. So, okay, there's things that kind of thing that happens.
Insurance company.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And my life insurance trust company denied my access to online access. It's like, okay. But the majority of my to-do list is stuff I want to do, stuff I'm excited to do. But I sometimes do too much. I don't rest enough.
Yeah.
And I think one of my favorite books by Melvin Pillet is called Unwork. And it's all about getting rid of our workaholic society. And I tend to be that way. So it's always a balance. Balance is everything. When I listened to that video, I immediately made the Post-it note that said grow and give. It's like, wow, that's just really. And then he also commented that the purpose needed to be outside yourself. And I think that's true too. And especially now when so many people are struggling with so many things and the world seems so upside down and there's so many things you feel like you can't control. But I loved where he said to make sure that every day you were doing one thing for one person. And there's nobody in the world that can't do that. And it always makes us feel better when we do. So all the words he used, power of choice, mindset, path, practices, outside your purpose. Those are all the things. So I'm really excited about our upcoming webinar on Tame Your To-Do List because
it's a workshop. It's a full workshop. It's an active workshop where the participants will receive our exclusive proprietary template for what we call a digital dashboard. I call it our productive environment digital dashboard. And it is in a piece of software. It's part of a tool. I mean, the design of the template is ours, but the tool is not ours, but you get both when you come to the workshop.
And I have to tell you that Andrea created it and I did a class on it and I said, wow, this is awesome. And so she actually came and helped me do it. I'm using it every day and I absolutely love it. So I'm always reminded of Mad Daddy's quote, half of any job is using the right tool. And in this case, she actually created the tool. It is absolutely a creation of hers, which is brilliant.
How it came about, it wasn't anything that I set out to do. I was like, I'm going to create the perfect task manager. There are a zillion task managers. There are a zillion lists and paper. And I still also, in combination, I still take notes on a physical notebook. And then these end up making it into my list. Well, I had taught our digital transformation boot camp a couple of times. And I tried to be inclusive of everybody that was on there because we have some people who use Google Tasks. We have some people who use, Apple Notes for their tasks. And there were different people coming with different platforms. And the more I tried to include everyone, the more I overwhelmed everyone, I think. So the more I tried to include, it became, because I would be talking about one thing that would be completely irrelevant to the rest of the group. And so I said, okay, we've got to come up with a way to teach the process of managing our to-do list or taming our to-do list without it having to be a specific tool. Kathy Music is one of our certified productive environment specialists, and she's highly efficient. She gets things done, and she uses a tool, a to-do list that I'd never heard of. And so, I looked into it, and it's as good as any others. They're, like I said, it's not finding the right perfect app. It's finding something that will work for you, the process of it, and then using it consistently. Go ahead, Barbara. I
lost my train of thought.
I know. Sorry, I needed to finish. My train of thought.
It'll come back again, I'm sure.
Okay.
Or as my mother would say, it must not have been very important. Oh, I know exactly what it was. It is like, it's the accomplish your work and enjoy your life. It's the balance of it that's really so important, and that we think is what we're about. Because if you're not enjoying your life, that doesn't, and you can have joy. I mean, biblically, you can be joyful all the time. It doesn't mean you're happy. So I'm not happy when I have to fill out the form for the insurance company, but I feel joyful that I have that resource and that's available to me. And we're always told to give in everything, give thanks. Doesn't say for everything, it says in everything. And so I think that's a really key factor.
And when we do our other boot camp that we teach is our office transformation boot camp. And that's about the physical space. That's about your filing, the paper in your office, your filing system. Well, in both of those processes, whether you're managing your paper or your digital, your email, your computer, things come up. Things come up that need to be done. A person that needs to be called, an insurance claim that needs to be filed, tax returns that need to be filed. I mean, life is happening and things need to be done. So you've got if you're a business owner, you've got that piece. And everybody, I think this goes back to Barbara, our concept of a home office for the business of life. We all have the business of life, and we need a way to capture those things that we need to do. Otherwise, we're constantly running behind. We're all on that hamster wheel, never feeling like we're ever caught up. I do want to address, go ahead.
Well, it's also one of the reasons that when people have piles of paper and they say, okay, today I'm going to organize the paper, one of the biggest stumbling blocks is you pick up the piece of paper and there's something there, a phone number, a phone call, some little bit of it. And then you think, oh, this will just take me a minute to do this, and then I'll do it. And then you're down a rabbit trail. Or it reminds you of something you want to do. And so in our boot camps, we're always having people not do, but process, which is there's a big difference. It's the same as we talk about in the digital boot camp about it's not checking your email, it's processing your email. And processing is another way of saying deciding. But then, as you said, Andrea, you must have told me this, I don't know, 15 years ago when I said clutter is postponed decisions. And you said, but making the decision is not enough. You have to have a way to implement the decision.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so that's where then we begin to talk about system and using the acronym of system, saving you space, time, energy, and money. Because every time there's something you have to do repeatedly, you need to have a system. And if you don't, what happens is you're reinventing it each time. And then it takes a whole lot longer and it doesn't become a habit. Whereas if you do something in a systematic way, it becomes a habit. And when things are a habit, good example, Andrea, just this week, you showed me in the digital dashboard how to include an email. And it was like writing the word email, highlighting it. And when you told me that, I said, oh, I'll never remember to do that. And I literally took a little Post-it note and put it right on my computer so that I could see it. I did it 5 times this morning.
You did. So you're
so proud of me.
I am so proud of you. And I want to talk about that for just a second. We've got a couple of comments I want to share with you guys in just a second too. That I do want to just point out again, kind of how the dashboard came about and in reference what Barbara just said about the emails. We teach people how to process their email. And I love Josh, your comment here. You said, mark all is read and get back to work.
Well, I know what I was going to say before. I had a client who said, I make to-do lists of things I've already done because it's so I can check them off.
I can check them off. Exactly. I love it. So what was happening, and I've got a couple of more comments I'll share in a second. What was happening is we were teaching people we were learning ourselves and doing it ourselves and teaching how to process your email. And we have a very, really awesome system that we learned from someone else. We love to, what's the word? Not
collaborate?
Definitely collaborate, but
my husband says creatively acquire.
Yeah, but it's that. It's more of that, but there's another word. It's also a C word. Where you're collecting information from others and then resharing. I can't think of the name. Anyway, if anybody knows, put it in the chat for me. I know the word. It's just not coming to me. But anyway, so what was happening? We were using the system, which we still use and love, but things were getting stuck. Emails that needed a reply or needed to be done, they were getting stuck. Thank you, Kathy. Kathy Musa. That's it. Curate. Thank you. It just wasn't there.
Together we are better.
Thank you, Kathy Music. So they were getting stuck in, and it happens on your to-do list too. You write things down, but they get stuck there. So then I asked the next question. So Barbara, you've always taught what's the next action? Okay. Everybody knows that when you're looking at a project or a task, like what's the next action? And then I added on to that and said, when are you going to do that action? And then, so the digital dashboard helps you determine that. So anyway, we teach that in the class. One other thing I'll mention, and then I'm going to go to the comments. Barbara, you mentioned the 3 tasks, your client that had written the 3 tasks, and you said when you finish those, stop. This is a mistake that a lot of people make. And I think I love that. Stop and go enjoy your life is even better. Because I do agree, establish 2 to 3 tasks max, right, at first. And so let's say you start your day with 3 big tasks or 3 main things you need to get accomplished. Because if you write your whole entire list and look at that every day, you're going to get overwhelmed and you're going to say, forget it, I'm not doing anything. So choose those 3 tasks. But what was happening, and I was doing it too, I would do one and I would check it off, and then I'd go get another one and add it. And then, so I always had 3 tasks. So I never felt like I accomplished anything, because I would go get, as soon as I did 1 or 2, I'd go get 1 or 2 more. And then I said, okay, I want to feel that I've accomplished something. So do all 3, then go add more. Like if you've got more time in the day to work, then go do those 3, check them off, feel good about yourself, celebrate it, and then go get 3 more, rather than finishing 1 and adding 1, finishing 1 and adding 1.
Well, I think that also supports something about how one of the things we fail to do is celebrate enough about our success. Dan Sullivan of the Strategic Coach, I was in his program for 8 years. And I remember he said to us all the time that most entrepreneurs operate in the gap. We get things done, but we don't congratulate ourselves. It's like, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And it happens all the time. So I sang in a recital recently, which I absolutely love doing. But when it was over, there was one thing that I didn't quite do the way I intended to. And of course, when I got off the stage, actually what it was, it's really embarrassing in a way. I forgot to bow and thank my accompanist. I mean, that was, that's something as a singer, you're supposed to do. And I didn't sing the song quite at the end like I intended to. And that kind of rattled me. And I walked off the stage and I forgot to. And immediately I started, I was like, oh, but I didn't do that, And I went back and apologized to my accompanist. I said, I'm so sorry. It's nothing. But there's an example of the rest of it went great. And I had a ball. And I got lots of comments. But the only thing I thought of at first is, but I didn't do that. So your thing about having 3 and then keep adding, it's like you're never going to get done.
You're never done.
And they're done. Then let's celebrate. So taking right now, they asked us to come up with a way to celebrate. The way I celebrate is singing, amen, 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 amen. My husband asked me the other day, how come you keep singing that song? And I said, it's because when I get something done I celebrate. And
That's right. That's right. Well, I love it. The concept that we just described with having 3 things on the list. Let me clarify that. I have a master task list that everything goes on. I mean, if something comes in my brain, like feed the dog, that doesn't really have to go on the task list. But anyway, anything that comes to my brain goes on the master list. But I don't want to look at that master list every day and every time it's time to do something. That's the list. And then I say when, and I say, is it going to be today? Is it going to be this week? Is it next month? When is it? Put it where it's supposed to be. And then on today, that's where you have 3. You choose the first 3, or not the first 3, but the most important 3. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to give you guys some context on that. Let's share a couple of comments here. Kathy Music, New Path Productivity, one of our specialists. She said, the digital dashboard you developed is a great framework for anyone who doesn't currently have a tool or feels their current tool isn't working for them. Yeah, exactly. If you've got a task manager or a to-do list system that is working, you do not need to change anything. You can, but if you want to kind of up your game and still come to the workshop, you're more than welcome, but it doesn't mean you have to use our tool. If you've got that and that's working for you, that's great. You can still learn about the processing and the when piece. But yeah, again, this is something that is kind of platform agnostic, that we can help integrate the tasks that come into you through emails. We can help that's what Barbara was referring to, how we can get those into your system. It's really a neat system. So I'm so excited about doing that workshop. So again, we'll post the link to that if you guys want to check it out. It's on November 15th, 2024, depending on when you're watching this video. And then Josh says, Barbara, I'm not sure if you've heard of this. This reminds me of the book I recently read, Redeeming Your Time, 7 Biblical Principles for Being Purposeful, present, and wildly productive. I have not heard of that, but that sounds amazing.
I love it. I love it. It's a wonderful, wonderful book.
So you have read it. Okay.
Yes, I
You
have.
read it.
I have.
Okay. Of course I should have known you had.
No, well, no, that's not true. But although my husband does say he came and got the mail out of the mailbox. He says, "Oh, there's no book in the mail today." He said, "Do you know about libraries?" And I said, "Doesn't work. I want to write in them."
Yes, you want to feel it and write in it and not give it back. And then you go through your process that you shared in a previous pep talk where you did declutter your books and you were able to make decisions about that. I'm working with a client now who's it's a husband and wife team. They're a team and clearing the clutter in their garage, and there's paper and books in there too. So we've been having this discussion about books lately.
I just had an experience of clearing the books at literally Bibles. I have a large collection of Bibles. And one of the ladies in our church, her daughter was going to Western North Carolina to help the people that in the hurricane. And she mentioned that there's a lot of older people there who lost their Bibles. Younger people, of course, they have access to it on their computer or their phone, whatever. The older people don't. And so she was saying, if anybody has any Bibles that they want to send. And so I looked at my collection on the shelf, and they're all ones that I have used from time to time and do. And I love them because they're by different pastors and things like that. But I thought, I have lots of them and I can't imagine not having one. And so I went through them, and it was hard. It was very hard, because the thought that kept coming to me was the same comment that I hear from clients, but I might need it sometime. But I decided, no, this is more important. It's more important than somebody who doesn't have one. I just can't even imagine. And so I took a great big box of them and gave them to my friend to take them out to Western North Carolina. But it just reminded me of how difficult sometimes it is to let go of things. But to the point of the video we listened today, when you do it outside yourself, this isn't about me. This is something I can do to bless someone else.
Yeah. And I think I want to go back to, let me go back to the band. So the name of the topic here is this quote by Richard Leader: "Our to-do lists will outlive us all." And the two purpose, big P purpose, legacy, and what you want your life to be about, and little P purpose, the choice you make every single day when you get up in the morning. So both of those are important. As Barbara said, I talked about Barbara being the big picture. What's your vision for your life? And I'm okay, what do you need to get done today? And they both need to happen. What we don't want you to do, and we're all, I don't want to use the word guilty of it, because I think people have a lot of shame and guilt around their productivity and how much they get done or don't get done. So I don't want to use guilty, but we can get into the weeds in our to-do list and only focus on that and forget the big picture, because there are always tasks. To the point of the quote, there will always be things to do, right? So we have to remember those two things that he said: wake up in the morning and write on your Post-it something that's going to help you grow, and something that you can give, or somehow you can make someone else's life better. So be cognizant of your big picture goal or purpose. If you're not sure what that is, connect with us. Barbara loves having conversations with people about, what do you want to be when you grow up, even if you're 65 years old. Right.
So the question that I often ask people, there's a couple of questions to talk about purpose, or when I'm feeling overwhelmed with all the little stuff, I often say, what is the most important thing for me to accomplish in my life? And how important is this in terms of that? Is this really? And there were two things that I was working on today that I made a phone call and said, I've decided not to do this. And it was simply because they were good things. In fact, we often say you have to give up the good to get the great. And so these two things were good, but they weren't great in the scheme of where I wanted to go. And so I took them off the list.
And that is fantastic. I'm glad you said that, because that's something I share with clients a lot, especially those that have really long lists. If you've got a lot of things to do, you've got a long to-do list, you've got a lot going on, then you need to make decisions and decide, is that new task the new thing to do? Is it worthy of being on your list? Because if it's on your list, it is taking up time, space, money, and energy. It is taking up your time, your space, your money, and your energy thinking about it and doing it. And it's taking the place of something else that may be more important. So just because you can do something, or it might be a neat idea, doesn't mean it is worthy to be on your list. So I love that you shared that, Barbara. There were two things that just, they weren't worthy of, they might have been nice to do.
They would have. They were both nice,
Yeah.
both very nice
Yeah.
things to do. And
Yeah. So
but I
purge
just
your,
decided, and I like the word, you used the word worthy. I like that too. They
yeah.
were worthy.
I used to say that about, and I still do say it about the Swift file. So we have a tool, the physical tool for paper and things that we need to do with paper. And so I would say that a lot, like, is it Swift file worthy? Because you're going to have to look at that piece of paper again. Is it worthy of your time and energy to do that? So a couple of things I said to get in touch with us. So one really great way to get into our world and our community, if you're not already, is by completing our productive environment scorecard. Get your productive environment score at productiveenvironmentscore.com. You will find out how productive your environment is, and you will have an opportunity to join us for one of our upcoming webinars. You will be you'll get kind of a email mini course on the certain things that we teach to help you be more productive. So go ahead and fill out your scorecard. We will offer you an opportunity to have a conversation about it as well. And then the other thing, Eds, if you'll post, because I'm not seeing it in here, the workshop that we have coming up, if anybody would like to check this workshop, and maybe if our time has passed for the one we're doing on November 15th, we may be doing another one. So you can still check it out, and we'll have a way for you to get in touch with us there as well. So productiveenvironment.com/tame your to-do list. If you want to learn our process, I'm actually teaching it to Barbara. Like, I've learned all of her concepts, and I'm always thinking, okay, how's a good way to teach this and share this with other people? So the to-do list, even though she didn't create it, it's based on a lot of our principles. And you'll also get the software tool, you'll get the software piece and our proprietary template, and as well as learning how to use it to tame your to-do list. So thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, reach out. Please make your way, wherever you're watching this, make your way over to our YouTube channel and like this video so more people can see it, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. We've got a great series coming up, you guys, in November. So here we are at the very end of October 2024. We've got a series of guests to share with you in November to help you think outside of course, you're going to fill in the blank with the box, like think outside the box. These guests are going to help us all think outside the file box. So make sure you put us on your calendar coming up. Barbara, anything else, or are we ready?
No, I just look forward to seeing people and the things we're doing, and just make sure that you know what your purpose is and that you're living it. And if you're not, we would love to help you.
That's right. Thank you. And guys, if anybody joined us late, go back and watch the beginning of this, the replay of this on YouTube, the beginning, because we shared a 2-minute video clip of the person Richard Leader, who said that our to-do list will outlive us all. It's a great little clip. Go check that out. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you next time.